What the hell is going on? Everything feels weird.
Nothing feels the same.
It's all a lie. Almost everything we've ever been told is a lie.
When you start thinking about something and it shows up on your social media feed, like you never verbalize it. And that's what happened to me.
We have been lied to since childhood about literally everything.
Since 2020, something has seriously changed.
Like something snapped in 2020 and never really healed.
A lot of people are feeling the change. And a lot of people feel that 2020 was a year that it actually happened. But I want you to know you're not alone. That something as we knew it, considered normal, is no longer normal. And a lot of people avoid talking about this. Several years ago, I had a dream as I was studying dreams in that 7-year period of time. And in the dream, there were two earths spinning and touching each other. And then I saw stars sticking on each earth, like flies on flypaper, picking a side. The one on the left, the one on the right, the yin, the yang, the male, the female, the old, the young, the up and down, the in and out. And as these earths started separating, whichever side you chose, that's where you were. And so it's kind of like choosing a team, football team. And as you watch politics and a lot of things right now, the battle between male and females, it's like a new sport that we chose. That chooses through, maybe through evolution or the human condition. And when I say the human condition, I mean the human in us that is more animalistic. It basically avoids pain and gains pleasure. That's all it's designed to do. Ones and zeros, on, off. And if you watch my channel or you know me in person, you know what I'm talking about. You can pick a side, you can pick the one that feels more right. Stuff's very hard for me to talk about. You know, I came to an absolute realization over the last week, actually, that it's almost like finding the ingredients for living a more peaceful, living in inner peace. It's been spoken about for thousands of years. Buddha talked about it over 2,500 years ago. But his time is different than our time. His message was important then, and it is important as well now, but take the best, leave the rest, because things are different than 2,500 years ago. Things are different than since 2020. Things are different since yesterday, since this morning, since an hour ago. Things are different within the last minute, the last second. In this instant is all that we have. Oh, we can get lost in our conspiracy theories, and we can do the math our entire life to try to find that ingredients. And the ingredients that I speak about is just being here. I'm touching this piece of wood. Here is always okay. Now, of course, I got a beautiful view out there on this covered bridge. And if you make it pretty enough to distract you from your thoughts and all these things that we run through our circus mind, we can see evidence of things that are validating the thing that we're lacking inside, that we're feeling the change. Something more hollow, something not as romantic in the air. In fact, romance has been a dying thing between male and females, and our connection to nature. Just the ether of romantic feels like it's been gone. But it isn't gone, it's been here all along. And once again, it's right here. The moss. Every time I come here in the present moment, if it takes touching something, that's what you need to do. If it takes smelling something, sap, a pine tree, anything that's strong enough to bring you back here and not in your mind. The one thing I could say that's common between us is a lot of us are feeling the change, the shift, and we can't decide if it's good or if it's bad. But we're waking up to the indoctrination we've had, and we've been lied to about most everything since we were born, and it's now being revealed. And some people retreat back and say, just throw me back in the matrix, throw me back in there, Trump's fixing everything, and the good old days is coming back. But honestly, I'll be honest with you, I don't like the good old days, not all of it. So what is new coming? Well, we're fighting to understand that right now. And keeping this short, and reaching out to people that feel this and are ready to do something about it. They're ready to make the change individually, themselves. And what is that change? Really be here now. This is where it's at. This is the gift. This is the thing that no human being can change. This is it. And if you're afraid of the responsibilities of still being in the matrix, paying your bills, being able to get food, the bold ones are already ready to die with this understanding. We know that there's a better way. And they don't let the fear of lacking stop them. Because it's disappointing. And you're on your own. You have to discover that. You have to be bold enough to discover that, to separate yourself from these decisions. And in my dream that I had of the two earths spinning next to each other, and souls, which the stars represent, sticking to one side or the other, they're stuck. As I saw the earths separating, I saw one star standing alone between both decisions. And that's the connection between you, spirit, and source. You're not alone. Never have been alone. Even if no one's around. As usual, I get on the camera and I lose track of everything that I wanted to say, nor will I script it or write footnotes. That's just the way I am. I've been instructed, lots of messages the other day, that what I discovered, I can only show. I can't share my ingredients to being liberated from this thing we call the matrix. You know, how does it work? How magical can it be? I can try to explain it, and it wouldn't make sense. I actually used AI the other day to help me put it in words and see if it agreed with it, if it had any relevancy. And it's interesting, the messages I got is, now that you know, shut up. It makes it hard for me to talk about this, but I'm seeing more and more validation of what I call the newel state of being. And all I can say about it is, we are more capable than we have any idea of. We are so capable that this reality that we're in is a cartoon show. And as you move more into understanding this, something's driving you, your spirit, your soul, your wisdom, your time. Time goes away. This looks like a big cartoon. It will not satisfy you as it used to. You'll see beautiful things and beautiful places. But you know, if you stayed here forever or too long, this too will bore you. It won't entertain you anymore. So then you're in a position of trying to hang on to it. Why is this not entertaining me anymore? It's so beautiful. Why? Why? Something wrong with me. You're used to it. You know it. When we're born, first we live a life of programming that used to work, still kind of working now. You know, money, JOBs, bills, credit, all this stuff. And we're seeing it crumble. It is. It's very tricky because it doesn't crumble in the time that you think, nor can anyone actually predict it with any accuracy. Every time a mass amount of people predict the same thing, the way the system works is it'll shift gears and change on you. The more people that agree to, this is going to happen, we can all see it, it'll shift the time frame. It will not happen. And fully understanding this, being alive for 59 years, as a student of inner study, and really what we're here to do is to study this thing called life, to ultimately liberate yourself from all of it. So we're programmed, we learn, our parents do the best they can, our teachers used to do the best they can, our mentors do the best they can to create a map or an ingredients to taste life with all the things that we want: stability, wealth, love, happiness. And those things just aren't working anymore because evolution is what evolution is. It's happening whether you like it or not. And the one thing I talked about in one of my most recent videos is you have to make a friend of change, because that's the only friend you can count on. And it's a gift. And if you fight it, it'll fight back. So you're born into a life of resistance, and then some that have some that are consciousness watching consciousness. Some, in other words, some that are paying attention and asking more auspicious questions of life and themselves and the mind and the spirit and the body. They start seeking the path with the least resistance. But the new one that's uncovering today, which has actually been intentionally kept from us, and that's what we're finding out, is you're here to live a life on a path of no resistance, not resisting the what is and the I am in the present moment. And I really believe there's an alien-like parasite that's been installed in us called thoughts. It's hard for me to talk about this. It's so obvious every time I try to do it, but I'll put these videos out and maybe there's a little bit of a something for somebody out here. I'm going to keep contemplating this. I'm having too much fun looking at the bridge and just being out here in peace. So, I don't know, guys. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's something absolutely beautiful going on all the time. You know, I'm really absolutely instructed to not talk about a lot of things. I really am. By source, by energy, something is telling me this is something you've earned. You've done the work for a very long time. You've weathered through it. You've passed the tests. You have slipped many times back into it, naturally, because fear is associated with it. But as you're becoming older and more aware of your mortality, aging, I still have a lot of time. And now I understand more than anything that we are infinite. We are forever. And knowing that deeply and contemplating that liberates you from the chains of this dimension, because this is a gift. Life is a gift, and if you're not looking at it that way, if you're not looking at it that way, then you will continue to suffer unnecessarily. And I'm just really, I'll say it again, I'm being instructed to not share what I've discovered ever until more of us get on the other side of the fence and collaborate and rejoice and affirm with each other and strengthen each other as the individual stars that we are. We have to separate from choosing and just be here. We naturally know the difference between good and bad. It's born in us. And some people, it isn't. Look, guys, I don't claim to know everything. All I know is I've been bold enough to question this most of my life. And I haven't lived as the normal person has, which I've tried to many times, and something would just knock that out from under my feet. How things come into my life, especially over the last 7-8 years. I felt at that time that my dismay, bad luck, my spirit decided to get that over with a long time ago and wanted to do it all at once. To the point where it knocked my dreams down, it knocked any ambition down, it basically turned me into the biggest professional loser, and I was proud of it. To not try to prove anything anymore, and that's why I can't talk about what I know inside. Because I'm not desiring to be a spiritual teacher. I'm not desiring to go, see, I told you so. I've learned that enlightenment in every aspect of the word is not the same for everyone. And how they arrive there is completely individual, just like our faces, your thumbprint. You have to discover it. All people can do with good intents is point you in a direction that they went, and that's it, is connecting with your pointers. And some will be not such positive influences, and that's a pointing, that's a form of pointing. Why wouldn't you want to live life in the absolute epitome of reality right now, right here, all the time? Do you think it would bore you? Do we think, I'm included in this, do we think it would bore us? No. Why do people skydive? It puts them in the present moment. Any extreme sport, it puts them in the present moment. Military soldiers that had to go to war and were in the front lines, they'll all tell you I felt more alive in that position than a safe life. And they struggle with the safe life more. And fact, that's how the Hells Angels started. Were veterans that just couldn't go home and live a safe life. They were willing to do things that the average person would never do. And so they formed their club, their alliance with brothers that were willing to do illegal things, dangerous things, because they can handle what the average person is too terrified of. There is a path of zero resistance while you're still alive. I call it the Newell state of being. I've met very, very, very few people that live that way. Most of them are very wealthy and innocent. They didn't sell their soul. I would say out of the 100 multi-millionaires and billionaires I've met in my life, this Newell state being was maybe 2. For that's what I'm uncovering. And this is a heck of a lot more adventurous than your safe world. And I'm grateful that I don't have a family, a wife, and kids. I knew I wouldn't my entire life. Never been married, no kids. Because this is more important. Some of us are pioneering a new way, a new vibration, new frequency coming into our dimension here. And I don't claim to know it all. I don't know if the 5D concept is correct. I don't know, and I've reached a point where I just don't care. It doesn't matter. There's something that's compelling me. Being a sound mind, a sound body, not a drug addict. I get people all the time telling me you should try hallucinogenics, and I'm like, I don't have any interest in that. I can do that all on my own, studying dreams. I appreciate it. They're wishing me well. But I love being here after I'm well fed, well slept, clean mind, present in the space where there's no problem. And that's the present moment. Even when problems come, it's not a problem. It only appears to be a problem. This is so hard. How do I continue talking about this knowing that I've never been this private, ever. I've always talked about these things as a study that I'm sharing with others. You know, it's always been a welcoming an opinion, a different angle. It's a talk with each other, a fellowship to narrow it down and remove all the filth and the garbage and the clutter. And now I'm truly feeling that I can't, it's highly recommended that I don't discuss this anymore. That's all I could say. But I can talk around it. And that's kind of what I've been doing, but I'm really committed to that now. And it's annoying to make a video. I don't know if I'm even going to post this saying, hey, I've got something I want to share, but I can't share it. And maybe it's just the tone or frequency that the fellow people that are in the same area of understanding where I'm at right now just need to hear it. So I have to speak. They have to fill in the lines. And I've got a couple of people that I consult with, and we can have a conversation like this that if we were sitting in a restaurant, Ma and Pa would think we're insane. They would be rolling their eyes going, what the heck they make no sense. I just know my drive ever since I was a kid was to refuse to allow the human species to convince me that this is some kind of tragic hell we live in. This is a gift, and it's the only gift you actually remember and know of, is this. The only recommendation I could have, which may not even apply to you, that's the fun part, is be present more than ever. This has never changed. Being present has never changed, even if you end up in a different country with different vegetation and different people. Being present should feel that way all the time. The more I talk about it, the more I just fading out into the clouds, and bonding is in terms of the strong tendencies. Electron balance shock by 6 so far, conceptual idea of 3, 4, and 5D is quantum mechanics switches through different strings than 16.
blah, 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 blah.
You want to know my truth right now? Here's the truth. I was looking for an excuse to take a drive in this wonderful car. That's all I really wanted to do.